everyone. I'm very excited to meet you all. We have a few more people signing up, so I cannot wait to see everybody. Welcome. Okay, I will just go ahead. Hi, everyone. You are more than welcome to the FMDQ-Next Financial Literacy event, our very first virtual program that we're so excited to have you all join us today. We have a lot of exciting things for you to learn about the financial markets, and with hopes to make you a money genius in the future, and starting from now, really. It's a 2-hour event, and yeah, I would try to get on with it. It's going to be a fun 2 hours, and it's going to go very quickly because we have a lot packed for you today. So first things first, my name is Kofo Odunton. I am your host for today, and joining me will be a few of my colleagues, which I'm going to introduce now. We have Uzomaka Etokudo. Do you want to say hello? Hi, Yuzi. So she's going to be taking a session today with you guys and talking about money, talking about intro to investments and the differences, and talking about FMDQ. We need to introduce FMDQ to you too as well. I know some of you have been on the program before, but yes, so we have Yuzi, another colleague of mine who will be participating today and educating you on the financial market, letting you know how the financial market works, is my colleague Segun Akintoye. Segun, do you want to say hello? Yes, Segun is going to delve deeper into how the financial market works, and that would be really exciting as well. Guys, please ensure your mics are muted. Another colleague of mine today would be Okwemi, who's going to be taking you through your break session where you can stretch your legs and have a dance, and we'll need you to participate then. So do you want to say hello, Okwemi? So Okwemi, excellent. And that's it for now. So I'm just going to go through how the program will run today. As I said, it's a 2-hour segment. There would be an icebreaker where we want everybody to participate. Please, everyone participate. I'll give you more information about the icebreaker, but you will need pen and paper, please. So just get pen and paper ready. We will then have a teaching session. My colleague Uzomaka, who came up not too long ago, would be taking you through that first session. Then there'll be a quiz. The exciting prizes to be won, so please pay very good attention so that you have a good chance of winning a prize. Yes, after the quiz, we have another teaching session. My colleague Segun will be taking you through that. There will be another quiz and then a break where you stretch your legs. The final session, very short sessions, guys, so don't worry. The final session will involve, talking about attitudes for wealth creation. So get ready for that. And then there'll be Q&A. There'll be a time, because we're a large number of people joining, we want the Q&A to come at a specific time. But if you have questions during the session, please use the chat box for the question. Then after Q&A, we will have the group chief operating officer. She's very passionate about the financial market and very passionate about the youth, educating the youth on the financial market. She cannot wait to meet you all. So we look forward to that. And that will be it. That's a wrap. So it will end in 2 hours. It's going to go very fast. And I look forward to taking you and my colleagues as well through today's session. Just a few ground rules. So again, if you have questions, please use the chat box. Just put it in, put your question in, and we'll address them accordingly. All your mics should be muted the whole time, please, until we let you know when to unmute your mics or when to turn on your camera. Then you can turn on your camera, especially when we need to see what you're doing when you're introducing yourselves, etc. Don't forget the quiz. There'll be a link for the quiz dropped in the chat box. So please keep looking in the chat for the quiz. It's a link. It would open up on your screen, but please do not close the Zoom session, so you don't remove yourself from the Zoom session, please. So just click on the link, answer the questions. You will have 5 minutes and you submit. Once you submit, we will collate the answers and we'll generate the results of the quiz. So don't worry about that. So please do not close Zoom link, very important. As I said earlier, get pen and paper ready and let's get ready for some fun. So can we all please turn on our cameras? I want you to write your name. Actually, hold on, before, yeah, okay, turn on your cameras, write your name on a piece of paper and show and tell us something interesting about yourself. If you can do that, can we all turn on our cameras? Hosts too, please, can we turn on our cameras? If you want to write your name on a piece of paper and tell us something interesting about yourself, just write it down and put it up so we can see. Hello, it's so lovely to see your faces. Wonderful. Please turn on the cameras, everyone. I can see everyone's names here. I know Nifemi is here, Caleb, Joshua, Ayomide, Toluwanimi, Oluwatomisi. Please turn on your cameras. Thank you. Uzomaka, Kelechi. Can we turn on our cameras and participate, please? Please write your name down on a piece of paper and one interesting thing about yourself, please. Anything. What's unique about you? What's your greatest strength? What are the fun things you like? Something unique, anything. Or does anybody want to go, to have a go and introduce themselves? Anyone at all?
I'm not going to do first.
We're still waiting for others to turn on their cameras. Please, do you want to turn on your camera and write your name down and tell us something interesting? One thing, one unique thing about you. So I can see Paul. I can see Paul.
What did you do?
Yes, Paul, excellent. He wrote his name and he's put it close to the camera to see. I don't know if you can see mine.
Wait.
Something interesting about yourself or something unique? Or unique interests? Do you play any musical instruments? Are you Angela? Hello, Angela. Lovely to meet you, Angela. Anybody else? I just want you guys to introduce yourselves. Okay. We have a few people that have come up. I can see Imran Adekojo. I can see Oreofe. Hello, Oreofe. Hello, Toluwanimi. Hi. Okay, seeing as most of you have come on, I would like to a quick pause. Thank you, Ikpo Ola Oluwa Alamo. I can see you, Ayomide. Welcome. Thank you. Okay, so we're just going to take a quick photo very quickly. So if you just want to smile for the camera, don't worry, it's going to happen. Just smile and give us a pose. Smile. Big smile, please. Excellent. Okay. All right. So let's move on very quickly. So I guess I got to meet some of you. I'm happy. Nifemi, hello. Nifemi Oyewole, Coinsola, hi. Hi, I can see you all. Wonderful. Okay. All right. Okay, so if you turn off your cameras now so we can go back into the session and I'll take you from there. So please turn off cameras and mute your mics, please. Thank you. Excellent. Can you please turn off your cameras? And mute your mics, please. Okay, I'm going to share my screen now and just talk you through what FMDQ-Next is all about, this program, before we jump right into it. Is that okay? So just a quick introduction to FMDQ-Next, and then I'll hand you over to my colleagues. So FMDQ-Next is FMDQ-Next Generation Financial Market Empowerment Program, and it's a learning and development initiative focused on the youth. So from primary, secondary, university, and fresh graduates, and essentially we want to empower the next generation on the financial markets. We want to ensure that the next generation, you know about money, how to grow money, how to invest, very important. And yeah, so you're financially empowered and you can make good financial decisions early on to create wealth. So some of the initiatives we have: teacher class, adopt a school, excursions and tours, and summer camp. And I believe some of you came for our summer camp last year. You know, so it's always very exciting. So hopefully next year you guys will be on board. But you're here today on the very first virtual financial literacy program ever in Nigeria. So please welcome. You guys are pioneers. Amazing. So yes, that's it. I'll run quickly to introduce my colleague, Uzomaka, who will tell you a bit more about FMDQ. Some of you who've been on our program before may know, but some of you also may not know. So can I just get Uzo Amaka to come on and take a session? She will also talk you through savings, money, investments very briefly. So let's go. Yuzi, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you very much, Kofo, for that introduction. And it's so lovely to see all the brilliant faces and happy people joining the session. I think we're expecting over 90 people, and quite a few are already on. So, we hope all the others join in very quickly. So without wasting further time, I'm just going to tell you a little about FMDQ group. So FMDQ is a group of companies that basically provides the process flow for raising capital, buying, selling investments, in very simplistic form. So that is basically what the group of companies, that's basically what it does. So we have different companies that make up the holding company, FMDQ Holdings PLC, or FMDQ Group, like we popularly call it. We have the FMDQ Exchange, which is the primary company where companies come to raise capital, facilitate buy and sell. We have FMDQ Clear, which is the next in line to the process, where those securities that have been, or those investments that have been raised on exchange, and the securities that people are interested in buying and selling are cleared. I would try not to make it complex. And then there's depository, FMDQ depository, which is again the next in line in that process, which is where those trades that have gone through exchange clear, there's settlement going on there. There is custody. You're holding your depository is basically where you deposit your securities. You deposit those investments pending when you're ready to buy and sell them. And then we have FMDQ Private Markets, which is the arm of FMDQ that basically caters to the smaller companies. So the small, medium companies, you would see those companies around us, our everyday companies. FMDQ Private Markets basically caters to them. And then there is IQX Consult, which is FMDQ's technology powerhouse that tries to develop and commercialize technology for use in the Nigerian financial market. Okay, FMDQ as a company basically thrives on what we call our gold agenda. It's called gold agenda, gold being G-O-L-D, so your typical gold, gold as in the color gold. But for FMDQ, it means something else. We pride ourselves on the gold agenda because that is what we use to assess all of the work that we do. So the gold agenda is our mandate. It means that everything the 5 companies under FMDQ would be taking on, we essentially meet those. So if FMDQ Exchange is carrying out an initiative today, we would be checking, is that initiative making the companies globally competitive? Is it making the company, is it making the market operationally excellent? Is it making the market liquid? Is it making the market, is it making the market diversified? So that essentially is, what we pride ourselves on. And that is what we call our gold agenda, as simple as it is. So FMDQ, the group of companies, thrives on that mandate essentially. And that helps us to sort of drive our vision for the Nigerian financial markets. We want to make Nigeria like the markets that you see, elsewhere. When people talk about financial markets, the first thing that comes to their mind is the markets in the West, Americas, the markets in Europe, and Asia, and what have you. So what FMDQ is doing is making very conscious efforts, taking very important steps to align Nigerian market to those international counterparts. So in the few years coming, we want you to think about financial markets and you're thinking about Nigeria. And when you think about Nigerian financial markets, you would think about FMDQ, because it's a conscious effort that the company is making through its group of companies to position Nigeria positively. So remember what I said, that the gold agenda helps us to drive that. So very quickly, we're going to move into the core of today. I wouldn't bore you with all the other details on FMDQ. You can go onto our website once, at your free time. Just log on to www.fmdqgroup.com and you can read more, educate yourselves about, what FMDQ does. And please feel free to write emails to us, call our numbers to, know more about what we do in the Nigerian financial market. So very quickly into money, savings, and investment. Now, this is the interesting part, because we're all at the point in our lives where this is becoming extremely crucial to us. So from the little monies we make every day, doing things at home, the gifts that we get, our little allowances that come to us, we sort of need to start knowing the importance of this and how to grow this further. So if we look at the evolution of money very quickly, money has been around with us, albeit in different forms. From the barter system, and what do we mean by barter system? When you have what I need, and I have what you need as well, or we can use want to make it simpler. So, I saw a lot of interesting participants. I think I remember Peter, I remember Nifemi. So if Nifemi has say biscuits and she wants chocolate, she goes over to, Peter and says, can we exchange this for this? That is barter system. So essentially, money has been with us. The concept of money, that medium of exchange, has been with us from way back. It would be interesting to know what each and everyone thinks about money. So I would love you to go into the chat box and quickly tell me, what is money? What is money to you? What do you understand money to mean? I'm sure we've heard it in different forms. We've heard, we've seen different kinds of cash money, paper money, but what is money to you? So I'll be looking forward to seeing all that you're putting in the chat box. So just look at the lower button, chat, and let's just have you tell us what money is, okay? Please drop your answers in the chat box. So like I said, from the barter system, which has been with us, just exchanging goods, between one person to the other, we pretty much moved on to cowries. What are cowries? Those ancient, if you like, the ancient beads, monuments, and things that have been with us for a very long time. Some of us who go to the countryside, who go to the villages, I'm sure we still see it. Some of us even still pick them on the beaches. We go there and we're picking cowries and, things of that nature. Now, those were used in ancient times as a means of exchange as well. Not until modern day technology came in and we quickly progressed into coins. So with coins, you find that we now have metals that are being made. Each country is branding theirs. I mean, we don't use coins now in Nigeria, but across the world, in other parts of the world, you pretty much have coins in use in different denominations. Again, technology advancement keeps making these things easier for us. So we then move to paper. From coins, with the advancements that nations have had, globalization, came paper money. Again, I would love, oh, thank you very much. Thank you. I can see all the answers popping in about what money is. Thank you very much. We're taking note of all of this. Thank you very much. It really shows, yes, we're in tune with what we're doing. So it shows a lot of interest. Thank you very much. So now we move to paper money. And that is something all of us, it's happening in our current generation. Paper money. Again, I would like for us to just, a few people should just tell us how many types of paper money or denominations, paper money denominations do you have in Nigeria? Let's just see what we come up with, because that is the most prevalent. Now we have paper money, we don't have to carry the metals and coins around. So whilst we use it interchangeably, it has also progressed. And who knows, maybe in the next century, who knows, we will probably see another kind of money with the invention of Bitcoins, and money could probably just become digital, not even anything that we're holding physically anymore. But yes, money has been with us as far back, and it has continued to evolve over time. Okay, so let's just follow the progression. Now, what does money mean to each and every one of us? Firstly, like you've all answered, thank you very much for the question, for the answers that are coming in. I'm seeing all of it. We have different numbers, denominations coming in. Thank you very much. And some of you are even telling us the denominations exactly. Thank you very much for that. So what does money mean to us? And I think a few of you have already answered it. It's a medium of exchange, firstly. It is a medium of exchange. So the moment I can use it to buy or sell, we can exchange, one thing for the other, and it is known as a unit of account. That is money for you. So from being a medium of exchange, it helps us to denote what a person is worth, because the moment we exchange the currency, you buy something, I sell something to you, money exchanges hands for products, for services, that essentially is money, okay? So there are certain characteristics of money. For anything to be called money, you obviously know that that thing has to be divisible. If we have 1,000 naira today, like we all know the Nigerian currency, 1,000 naira, if we have 1,000 naira today, you call it money because you can pretty much break it down into lower denominations. You can break it down, use it to, basically make certain investments and more. But more importantly for us, is not just for you to have money. It is to also know the best way to hold money, to grow money, and to keep multiplying that money that you have. So it helps, in your future endeavors. So for all of us as kids, as youths, and even as adults, it's important for us to, sort of understand the concept of, holding money and using money. And that I'm going to explain very briefly under savings and investment. So money that we keep every day, we hold on to the money every day, we're saving money every day. The monies we're getting from our allowances, we're putting it, some of us have piggy banks. I remember growing up, I didn't want piggy bank just because I had to break it to access the money. So I kept a paper box, so I could always go into it when I wanted it. But it was a conscious effort to save. And that is what we're promoting here today, the concept of saving. And saving, what is it typically? When you take money and you put it aside for later use, that is saving. I'm sure a lot of us are currently doing it. You're saving money, you're putting it aside for later use. That is something very commendable, because you would find that you're able to use it in the future. You're able to use it when you need to purchase things. So some of you are saving towards, your holiday, if you like, clothes, you're saving towards vacations, you're saving towards the games that you want to buy. I'm sure a couple of us, let me see by show of hands, how many of us are saving. So if you just go to, if you could just, raise your hands in the box below, and let us see how many of you are saving. Okay. All right, that's fine. I mean, commendable. So we can see quite a few of you are already into the habit of saving, which is fine. But again, beyond saving, it is not just enough to save. Whilst you're saving, it is also important for you to think investment. What is investment? Investment is now when you take that money you're saving and you put it into something else that would yield additional money for you. So every month you get your allowance, you know, when you're a good kid, when you do chores around the house, your parents, your guardians, you know, giving you tips. Oh, well done, Ifemi, well done, Peter. Today you earned yourself 500. Today you earned yourself 1,000. You're getting gifts, holiday gifts, and co. You're putting that aside. That is your saving. Now, when you put all that money aside and you ask your parents, you ask your guardians to invest that money for you, you're typically saying, I want to grow the money. I want to, you know, multiply it. I want to start to build the money I have. And that is how most of the, you know, most of the monies that we have today, when we look back at the things that we invest in, that is how they've come to be. So again, it is not just enough to save your money. When you're done saving your money, we should always be thinking investment. We should always be thinking investment. So when you invest your money, you know, that basically starts to yield some returns for you, okay? And there are different ways you can invest your money, you know, very literal ways. Basically, if you have your money put in a bank or any financial house that offers some form of interest rate for the monies that you have, you know, that is some form of investment for you. So typically your savings account would be yielding you some form of, so thank you very much. I am sorry, I should say that I've seen all the show of hands. You can put your hands down now. Thank you very much. So you would see that if you go to your typical bank or any financial house and you open a savings account and put your money in it, you know, monthly, you get some little money that comes into it. That is some form of investment. You know, there are other kinds of accounts. You have the fixed deposit account, and there are so many other kinds of investment vehicles, if you like. There are so many other things you can invest in, you know, beyond just putting those monies in accounts. And, you know, for that session, there is a whole session on that, and my colleague Shegun would, you know, come right after me to talk you through the different, more about the financial market and to explain to you the different kinds of securities or investments that you can access from the financial market and how enterprising all of these are. Okay, so I hope we've all listened. And please, if you have questions as I'm going along, please just drop the questions in the chat box. I'm definitely going to pick it up. We're picking it up and we ensure it is answered. Just drop all your questions in the chat box. So someone is asking what a fixed deposit account is. So a fixed deposit account is an account with a financial institution where you put your money in for a defined interest rate. So you would get a fixed return. It's called fixed because you fix that amount with the bank. So say you have 1,000 naira, you go to a financial institution and you open a fixed deposit account. They will take the money from you. They're borrowing, you know, it's like a lender borrower scenario. They take the money from you at a given interest rate, and every month, or as is agreed, they will pay you some form of interest for keeping that money with them, okay? So they basically take that money from you and they pay you some form of interest. You earn interest on that account, okay? So please keep asking all the questions. Remember, this is a 2-hour session and we're going to try as much as possible to bring everything in for you, give you the basics, and you can, you know, ask us questions. You can try to reach out to us and we'll always be here to educate you and empower you even more. So I hope we've all listened. I hope we're paying attention. I can see the show of hands. I can see the chat box, you know, with comments in it. So we're going to move right into the quiz. Kofu had told us that after each session, we would have a quiz. I encourage you all to participate. It's important because we'll be selecting, you know, the top winners. There are exciting prizes and gifts for you. So I hope you participate. You're understanding what is going on, asking your questions, and we'll be getting it. So the quiz is you're going to have, if you go to the chat box, everyone, the link will be dropped now into the chat box. So you're going to click on the link in the chat box, And let everyone, if you have problems with the link, please just put, drop a comment so we can quickly fix it for you. But can everyone try to access the link? Can everyone open the link on the chat box now, please? Don't close your Zoom page. Please do not close your Zoom page. Just click on the link in the chat box. It's been dropped now. Click on the link. It will redirect you to a new page where you can, answer the quiz. Just a couple of questions on the basic things that we've spoken about: money, savings, investment. You're expected to answer all the questions. And I hope and I encourage you to answer all the questions, because there'll be prizes to be won, and you obviously don't want to miss out of it. So please, when you're done with the quiz, when you answer all the questions, just click submit. Okay, if it is not opening, we're going to have that checked up. Let us know if you have problems, and this is being looked at immediately. I can see the comments coming in. Okay. I can see the comments coming in. So please just, answer the questions once you've opened it and start to, once you've opened it, start answering the questions. When you're done, just click the submit button and go back to your Zoom page, please. Do not close the Zoom page. It's important so you can, participate in the rest of the session. So the time starts now. I see a lot of you, the link is accepting answers. Okay, we'll have that checked. I see a lot of you have opened it. We'll have someone raising their hands. Okay, that is being checked. Someone who has questions with the link, that is being checked. So keep answering. Your time is running. Keep answering. We have a few minutes more, about 3 minutes. Okay, I'm told the quiz has been open for those, it's been reloaded for those who are unable to open it. So can we try now? I would restart the time again. I will take the 5 minutes back to start. So can we all try it now and confirm that it's working for us? And if it's not, just drop your comments very quickly so we can look at it. Can we get confirmations that it is working? Okay, I have someone who still has an issue. We're checking this now. Oh, okay. Yeah, so we have people saying it's working now. A lot of the participants are saying it's working now. They're able to answer. So your 5 minutes starts counting. Don't worry, there are other quizzes, but I encourage you to participate in this one. Oh, great. I can see people who are even done. So we have a few more minutes to go. Everyone should, attempt it. It's working. Great. I can see all the comments. Thank you very much. A lot of you are even done. That's fantastic. Great. That's fantastic. I love the comments coming in. It's very positive and encouraging. So we have about 1 minute and a few seconds left, and the link will be closed. Okay. Just remember all that we have talked about, the concept of money, how money started, the different systems, and what it means to have money. What are the characteristics of money? And those are things we talked about, the difference between savings, having money to hold, and putting it into some venture that would yield you some form of interest and help you to build and grow your wealth. It is everything that we have pretty much said now. And I hope one of you is going to come up tops and a couple of others win very exciting gifts. I'm excited already because I can see so many comments coming in. Yeah, that is fine. So right after this, I think we have just a few seconds left now. Few seconds left. So we're going to move very quickly to the next session. We're going to move very quickly to the next session. Okay, I'm going to move very quickly to the next session now. Just before then, Kofo had told us that our group chief operating officer for FMDQ group, Kodi Ugoji, was going to engage us, just very inspirational chats and just get to know us and continue to inspire and empower us. These are the people that try to guide us through as we continue to grow. So she's going to join us very quickly, and then we're going to go into the next session. So I would have her come up now. I think everyone is done with the chat, so the link should pretty much be going off now. If you couldn't participate in this, I'm sorry. Yes, the link has been closed. I can see comments coming in now. The link has been closed. Oh, that's fantastic. So that's great. A lot of you have answered the questions now. I'm going to hand it over to my colleague Shegun to tell us more about the different investment vehicles that you can, he will talk to us about the financial market, and then he will talk to us about the different investment vehicles in the financial market. So whilst we've talked about general concepts of money, what it means to save, and then more importantly, to invest the money, you're now going to learn about the financial market and the different ways you can invest your money in the financial market, okay? All right, I'll have Shegun come up now. Shegun, over to you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Yuzi. Guys, I'm excited to be here, and it's good to see this huge number of people join us for this session. And again, Uzomaka has given very good background on what is money, what money is used for, just general background in terms of where our final destination in the good utilization of money. So going right into it, we'll be covering some very interesting and exciting topics here, where we'll be looking into the financial system, the financial markets, the various instruments or investment opportunities in the markets, and also we'll look at some of the participants in the market. So let's dive into it. I like the fact that the session, you guys have been very interactive, and I've been looking at some of the comments, very interesting. You probably know as much as I do at the rate at which we're going now. But let me just share a couple of interesting ideas with you, then we take it up from there. Please keep on putting in your comments so that we can make it as engaging as possible, yeah? So we start off with the financial system. In a nutshell, what is the financial system all about? It's a platform where those raising money, is a platform for raising and allocating money in very simple and basic terms. And what does it entail? It implies that there are several components that make up the financial system. These various entities, including the financial markets, financial intermediaries, and products, make up this ecosystem called the financial system. And largely, it's a platform for those with excess funds and need an avenue to allocate those funds, come to this platform and then give those funds to those that have deficits, what we call deficits, or more or less those in need of funds. Now, in other words, if, for instance, Nifemi or Nimi wants to raise money to buy a gamepad or a laptop, for instance, you come in, you play in the financial system to raise the money, let's say 10,000 naira to buy a mini laptop, and then you need those monies, but you have some collateral of sorts. You come into the financial system, access a financial market intermediary, and then raise this capital. Now, who are the people that will give you this money? Those that have excess funds at their disposal. So that's what the financial system is about. A platform for raising and allocating money, finance, you call it what you may, but largely a platform for moving monies from those that have it in excess to those that have a shortfall or have a need for it. Now, the structure of the financial market includes a couple of infrastructure and policies or rules guiding this market, as you would have in any kind of market you go into. We have the investor protection. It has to be friendly to investors. What does that mean? It means anybody that is bringing their money into this ecosystem should be assured of some safety of sorts. Should be sure that they are not just bringing their money to lose it, so to speak, in the market. There are some level of protection for investors. And in addition to that, there must be strong financial institutions that set up rules, governance, processes that ensure that the allocation of capital is efficient. It is genuine. It's not a gambling platform as much as it is a platform for moving resources from one party to the other and transferring benefits and risk. So we go quickly into the next slide. Where we talk about financial markets. Now, the financial markets, cover please the previous slide. Okay, yes. So the financial markets, what is it about? The financial market is like any other market you are familiar with. And maybe you can tell me, what do you typically see in a market? If you go to your regular market, say the eco market or the food market I think there's one on the island now. What do you typically see? Can you put that on the chat box? What is your experience? What do you typically see in the market? I'm waiting. What do you typically see in the market? Would you find buying and selling interesting, good? You see food stuff, interesting. That's the products. Those are the products that you see in the market. What else do you see in the market? Goods, good stuff. So from what you're saying, there's buying, there's selling, yes. And you also see what? You also see buyers and sellers. Where are the buyers? You will agree with me that you and I that go to the market to buy stuff, where are the buyers? And the sellers are those that are providing the products to sell. And that's similar to what you have in the financial market. It's a platform where buyers and sellers of financial assets, equities, bonds, treasury bills, currencies, and what we call derivatives, but I wouldn't bore you with all of that. But it's a platform for buying and selling financial assets. So a saver, a lender. So let's talk about the buyers and the sellers. A buyer has money to buy an item. The buyer it also means that the buyer is either in need of the item or has excess funds and needs to deploy it or needs to put it into a particular product. That then means that the buyer, in the case of the financial market, will include those that have excess liquidity, those excess funds rather, those of you that have saved some money aside and you're looking for an outlet to invest your money, and we typically call them savers, investors, or lenders. Now, the moment you buy a debt instrument, you are lending your money to the other party. So I give you an instance. Let's say Nimi is taking money from Angelique. What you then get to see is that Nimi is borrowing money from Angelique, and that means that Angelique has excess money to give out. In that scenario, Nimi is the borrower, Angelique is the lender, and that means that Angelique possibly has a project that she wants to finance or a business she wants to finance and needs to raise money from Nimi. Now, from that context, Nimi is the borrower and Angelique is the lender. Angelique is the investor because she's lending money to Nimi. And in looking at it as well, you can say that Angelique is also investing in the instruments that Nimi is going to give to her. Now, how does that work? In the financial market, the way you go to your regular market and you see a product, let's say the product is a piece of clothing, yeah? In the financial market products as well are paper documents that reflect the terms of that financial product. So this paper in my hands, for instance, if Nimi is going to borrow money from Angelique, Nimi will give Angelique a document that says the terms of the borrowing. So things like, I, Nimi, hereby borrow 10,000 naira from Angelique to buy a laptop. The borrowing is going to be for 3 weeks. At the end of 3 weeks, I'll return the money with a particular interest rate of, say, extra 500 naira, interest income of extra 500 naira. And by Angelique giving Nimi that money and collecting this paper, we tend to say in the financial market that Angelique has invested in this paper. And this paper is that document that reflects the spirit of the transaction in its entirety. Moving on quickly, the financial market will include activities such as borrowing and lending, price determination, information coordination, and liquidity. So let me give you let me put some color into it for you. If you go to the market and you go, let's say you go with your parent or your guardian, and let's say you want to go and buy a piece of clothing, what do you see? You see your mom probably go from store to store. And in the first store, she asks, okay, want to buy this beautiful, this nice looking shirt. How much will it cost? How much does it cost, rather? And then the seller says, okay, it costs 500 naira. Then your mom says, hey, I'm willing to pay 300 naira. That entire activity is what we call price discovery or price determination. If she goes to the next store and say, hey, the 500 naira is too expensive, let's try the next shop. She goes to the next shop and the same shirt, she asks, what's their price? And they offer 450. That also involves price determination. But while she's there, while she's still negotiating, another buyer walks in and then says, hey, I want to buy that same shirt. And before your mom could agree, the other buyer pays the fee, the 450 naira price, and picks up the shirt. Then we say that there is significant liquidity in that product because there is significant demand and there are willing buyers and willing sellers. So these are the kind of features you see in the financial market, just the way you see in your regular roadside shop or market, or the typical market you go to buy foodstuff and other items. Next slide, please. Great. The financial market is largely made up of, depending on the kind of activity that you want to participate in, the financial market is made up of the money market and the capital market. The money market involves transactions where the tenor of that transaction is, the tenor of the underlying product is, say, from 1 day to 1 year. Now, what does that mean? In my example between Nimi and Angelique, I said Nimi wants to borrow 10,000 naira from Angelique for 3 weeks. That is your typical money market transaction, and that's a loan. Yeah, and that's your typical money market transaction that spans less than a year. But if Nimi or I think there's Samson on this line, Peter, if Peter decides to borrow for more than 1 year, then we say that transaction or that loan is a capital market transaction. So what does that mean? All financial market products beyond 1 year is a capital market product, or that product is in the capital market, and products below 1 year is in the money market. So I give you examples. Treasury bills, these are federal government borrowings, sovereign government borrowings are less than 1 year and they play in the money market. They are in the money market. And then when you have bonds that are beyond 1 year, then you have that. Those are capital market instruments or investments. Quick question. Where do you think equity market will fall in? Money market or capital market? We'll still touch on it later on in our presentation, but before we get there, quickly drop in the chat box and tell me, equity market, money market, is it equity product, is it a money market instrument or a capital market instrument? I'll be watching out for your answers while I continue with the presentation. The next thing we have is in the financial market as well, we have another two categories, which is the primary market and the secondary market. Interesting. Someone says money market. Oh, I hear that the audio is breaking. Apologies for that. Okay, probably, could you check your network as well? Okay, I hear some are hearing very well, but just check your network as well and let us know again if you're experiencing it. Now, okay, interesting. I see some are saying capital market as well. Okay, good stuff. We'll find out later on in the slide by the time we talk about the features of each of these instruments, yeah? Now, primary market and secondary market, what does this mean? So in our example, we said Nimi is taking money from Angelique and giving Angelique what? A piece of document that says that Nimi borrowed $10,000 and 10,000 naira rather. Now, that entire activity is in the primary market. What does that mean? The process of raising capital, the process of transferring funds from those in need to from those with excess to those in need are primary market activities. So if I'm going to borrow money from any of you, that's a primary market activity. But if I'm going to but the moment I take that money from you and you have this paper stating the terms of the document. So we use the Angelique example. If Angelique then decides, hey, she needs, before the expiration of 3 weeks, she needs her money. Maybe she now decides she thought she could stay away with, she could give the money away for 3 weeks, but guess what? She now needs the money to meet some other need. What options are available to Angelique? Angelique can go back to Nimi and say, give me back my money and take your paper. Or Angelique can take that same documents to another party, to another individual, say Peter, and tell Peter to buy the paper from her and give her 10,000 naira and collect the money from Nimi at the expiration of the 3 weeks. The original transaction between Nimi and Angelique.
Low. And once you are using it for Zoom or for.
Okay, we're getting a little bit of feedback. Okay, so going on, the moment Nimi gives that, the process of Nimi taking the money from Angelique is a primary market activity, but the process of Angelique given that, selling that same paper to Peter is what? Is a secondary market activity. Putting it succinctly, it means primary market activity is the original raising of capital or funds from a lender by a borrower. The secondary market is the transfer of the underlying transaction from one lender to another lender, or from one investor to another investor. Okay, someone says, Aurelua says he didn't get the question correctly. Okay, the question then was that equities, are they capital or money market instruments or products? Yeah. So we move on to the next slide. All right, this is where it gets interesting. Let's talk about common investment vehicles. One common investment vehicle is what? Is equities. And let's talk about it in some fine details. Now, for instance, let's say that I want to set up a car wash business. Yeah. Now I've done my feasibility study. I've seen that there's a market for it and there's potential to make some money from it. So I then decide I want to set up the business. And let's say the business is going to cost me about 100,000 naira. Now I have only 50,000 naira. So what options are available? I can call on my friends, family, or go to a bank to borrow money. Alternatively, I could ask other investors to join me and invest in that business. When I set up that business, what I own, that instrument that reflects my ownership of that business, is what is called equities or stock. They all mean the same thing. Equities, stocks, shares, they mean the same thing. And in the equities market or the stock market, the process of me issuing shares to a new investor is a primary market activity. However, when I own the shares in the company, because the shares of the company, I own it for the life of that business. So, and typically businesses exist beyond 1 year. So in that process, it means that shares, equities, or stock are typically financial market products that have tenors longer than 1 year. But guess what? How long is the tenor of an equity investment? It is forever. It is as long as that business exists. So equity investments typically do not have a tenor, they do not have a period, they do not have a maturity date. As long as that business remains in operation and I have investments in that business, then that transaction, that equity investments will continue to remain. Now, for that reason, do you want to check your answers again when I asked you about equity investments, how long what is the tenor for an equity investment? Is it now a money market or a capital market? I'm sure you will agree with me now that it's a capital market transaction or a capital market instrument because it is longer than 1 year. Only instruments or only instruments with tenors less than 1 year are money market instruments. Instruments with tenors longer than 1 year are capital market instruments. Yeah. Now, having said that, let's quickly go through this slide and then see the life cycle of how funds move from one investor to the other. We set up a company, my car wash business, company X. Investors bring their money into that company, and the company issues stocks, equities, or shares to the investor. The investor then makes money in two ways. One, by trading that instrument in the market, in what we call the stock market, and that's where the exchange like FMDQ comes into play, where you can take your stock there, the shares that have been issued to you by the company, and you can sell it to another investor. The first part, which is the portion where the company is issuing to the investor, is a primary market activity. And the second part, where the initial investor is selling to a new investor, is what? Is a secondary market activity. Now, typically on stock exchanges, there are intermediaries, there are licensed individuals or entities that trade in that market space. And these entities usually are called stockbrokers or dealing members, rather. These dealing members will act on your behalf, will take your mandate to go and sell the stock, and then take another person's mandate to buy that same stock. There is price determination between both dealing members, and then the transaction is executed. Another option for the investor to earn money is by holding on to the shares, but the company then pays the investor dividends on an annual or semi-annual basis, depending on the company. Many of you are familiar with a number of companies on the exchange. On the one very popular platform for trading equities in the Nigerian market is the Nigerian Stock Exchange. But can you tell me three companies actually that you know have their shares listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange? Okay, So moving on quickly. Kofu, please, next slide, please. Now let's talk about bonds quickly, and then we go through other investment opportunities that are there. Now, loans. We've talked about loans. My examples, we've talked about the different type of loans that there are. I gave you an example of where Nimi is borrowing money from Angelique, and that's your traditional loan, but there are different types of loans. And depending on the structure or the type, they have different names. But underlying every fixed income transaction is a loan in its simplest form, either a loan or a debt instrument. So I give you an example. If Nimi is borrowing money from Angelique for 3 weeks, we say it's a loan. If Nimi is borrowing money from Angelique for 5 years, we call such instrument bonds or debentures. If the federal government is borrowing money from Angelique for less than 1 year, the federal government will typically issue treasury bills or promissory notes. If the federal government is going to borrow money from Angelique for more than 1 year, say 10 years or 20 years, we call such instruments what? Bonds. So as long as the tenor, if a loan is more than 1 year, it's a bond instrument, is a bond, but if it's less than 1 year, it's typically either a treasury bills or a loan or a promissory note. So depending on the structure. Now, the primary market for loans is where the moment an investor is giving his money to a borrower. Now we call so in our example between Nimi and Angelique, Nimi is what? Nimi is the borrower, but because Nimi is issuing this paper, then it means we also call Nimi an issuer. We call Angelique an investor or a lender, using our examples, using some of the parameters we've used in the past. Then if Angelique decides to sell that instrument in a secondary market, like the FMDQ platform for trading bonds or such fixed income instruments, then the new investor becomes the new lender, and Angelique is removed from the transaction. So Nimi at maturity, Nimi will pay the money being owed to who? To Angelique. No, I take that again. Nimi will pay the money being owed to Peter, who is the new investor. And that is how the bond market works. There's a primary market for it, and there is a secondary market. The primary market is where the original borrower takes money from the original lender, and the secondary market is where the first lender sells the instrument or the issued paper to another lender. Now, what's the difference between stocks and bonds? Stocks do not have a maturity date, but bonds typically have maturity dates. However, there are bonds that we call perpetual bonds, which do not have maturity dates, but they are very, very rare. There is none in Nigeria, but there are some jurisdictions abroad that have a couple of them, but they are very, very rare. Beyond that, bonds can have tenors as much as 30 years, 50 years. The longest tenor bond in Nigeria is a 30-year bond issued by the federal government of Nigeria and actively traded on the FMDQ Securities Exchange. Now, please, going on to the other instruments we have available. We've talked about investors. We've talked about who are investors. We've talked about who are the lenders. We've talked about who are the borrowers. Now, let's talk about other sources of income or other investment vehicles. Let's talk about mutual funds. And I'm going to give you a challenge at the end of the program. Remind me if I do not tell you what that challenge is. But for now, mutual funds are platforms that aggregate monies from different investors, and they are managed by professionals who help these investors to put their money in credible investments and generate returns. They put the money in securities and generate return that go back to the investors. They charge a small fee, and these mutual funds are managed and supervised, or rather are supervised and regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission. I take that again. Mutual funds are platforms or are schemes that aggregate funds from individuals, corporate entities that have excess funds, they have excess cash. They take the money from them, invest them in securities, generate income, and give those income to the investors after deducting a small fee. Please drop any questions you might have in the Q&A spot, and we'll be responding to those questions. Yeah. Now, moving on to the next. Other investment types that you will have are, okay, give me a second, please. Okay, talking about other investment opportunities that are out there, we've talked about treasury bills. Treasury bills are borrowings from the federal government. That is, the federal government is coming into the market or meeting investors to borrow money for less than 1 year. Typically, the federal government will use those monies to finance the annual budget. Another one we have is what? Real estate. I'm sure all of you know real estate. If you live, as you are now, you're under a building, that is real estate. Real estate are fiscal structures, fiscal properties that you can invest in and then generate rental income. So those are other investment vehicles that are available in the financial market or in the financial system. Then you have fixed deposits. My colleague Uzamaka has spoken to you about fixed deposits. Deposits with a bank, whereby the bank gives you interest income on the monies that you've kept with them. And guess what? Your fixed deposit investments typically have less than 1 year tenure. So they are money market instruments as well. Most fixed deposit investments, if not all, usually have less than 1 year tenure. Having said that, there are other investment vehicles, but these are the basic, these are the very common ones. And remember, there's a point I made earlier, underneath every kind of fixed income instrument. So bonds, treasury bills, fixed deposits, and some kind of mutual funds are fixed income transactions or fixed income products or instruments. And underneath each of them there's a borrower and there's a lender. If you are investing, you are the lender, and the party that is taking your money is the borrower. Exchange traded funds are like mutual funds, but are tradable on the exchange. Rather than give your money to a fund manager, you are giving your money to yet an exchange traded fund manager. However, the manager invests directly in the instruments and you get all the benefits. So that's it on this segment. I think we'll be going into a quiz quickly. It's a 5-minute quiz, asking you questions. All right, we're ready. So please get your, okay, I think we have benefits of investing that I have not covered. Let me quickly cover that, then we go into the quiz. But get your pen and paper ready, and we'll be going through that quiz shortly. Now, what are the benefits of investing? Additional income. Just the way Uzomaka told you, if you want to grow your wealth, then you invest to get additional income, and gradually your wealth is growing. There's something we call compounding effect. And that is the fact that when you invest your money and the income you get from that investment, you reinvest it as well. The income you get, your total income continues to grow as you reinvest all of the income, and you see your wealth grow from there. Then to manage inflation. Now, this simply speaks to the tendency for prices of goods and services in the country to increase on a yearly basis. In Nigeria, it's an average of between 10 and 13% in the last couple of years. And what it means is that if you keep your 100 naira in your pocket, the price of goods and services in the country is growing at 10%. It means that what you can buy with 100 naira today, in 1 year's time, that item will be worth 110 naira, and you will realize that your 100 naira, you won't be able to buy that item with the 100 naira you have in your pocket. So that means that you need to invest your money so that you can afford that item in a year's time. Also, is a means to save money and generate income then towards meeting your financial aspirations. Maybe you want to buy a car in the future, or you want to buy a very expensive house, or you want to buy a luxurious yacht. You have to plan for them and then save and rather invest towards that. Then you are in the case of financial crisis, if for any instance you need money for an emergency, you can quickly pull from your investment and meet those financial needs. And then it gives you a sense of security. You could imagine having that sense of confidence that the house across the street belongs to you. You tend to see life from a relaxed perspective rather than from one where you are panicking from time to time as to how you'll be raising income to feed yourself or to meet your needs, as the case may be. All right, those are the benefits of investing. We'll be going quickly into the quiz. Remember, as you were informed earlier by Kofo and Uzomaka, you will be, the link will be dropped in the chat box. You have to answer all questions and submit within the 5 minutes, but remember to come back to the Zoom session so that we can continue the rest of the session. Again, if you have questions, remember to drop them in the Q&A field, and then we will attend to them. I understand we've been attending to some of them. So, but if you have more questions, please drop it in the Q&A and we will attend to it. The link has been dropped. So please go in there. Your time starts about now. And if you have issues, please let us know. We will look into it, but the link has been dropped. So please go ahead and answer the questions as they come up, yeah? Okay, I see Tomisin is saying that the link is not opening. Is any other person experiencing the same issue? Tomisin, can you confirm? Can you retry it and confirm, please? Can any other person open the link? All right, good. Okay, good. I can see many of you can access the link. Tomisin, do you want to just check again? All right, good. Okay, good. So you have about 4 minutes more. Please remember to mute your mic. Mute your mic. Remember to mute your mic and put off your video. So you have 2 minutes more. All right. 1 minute more. Are you done with your questions? Are you done with the quiz? Good. I can see some are done. Done. All right, good stuff. Good, good, good. All right, good. So I'll be handing you over to my colleague, Kofo, to take you on from here and enjoy the rest of the session. I'll be back for the second session where I'll be speaking to some of your questions, and then we continue these good moments.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Shego and Uzomaka. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the session. I hope you learned a lot, and I'm looking forward to seeing the results of your quiz. We're going to take a quick break now, and just want you to stretch your legs, take a loo break if you need to, but we're going to have a quick dance session for those of you, and I hope most of you participate. I'm going to introduce my colleague, Opemi, to, Opemi, do you want to wave and jump in, and she would take you through this little session just for you to unwind a little bit, stretch your legs, and we want everybody to participate. So, Opemi here. Okay. Everyone, please put on your your cameras, please. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're enjoying the session so far. And I hope you've learned so much from the session. So I just want us to all stretch out a bit before we go into the next session. I'm just going to play some nice music, and I'll be looking out for the best dancer on your videos. So please turn on your videos and dance with me. I can't see your videos. I'm looking for the best dancer. I can't see anybody dancing.
You won't see us because somebody ended our videos.
Angela, dance now. I can see you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Hello, Angela. Hello, Chica. I can see you're trying to move. All right, I can see you nodding your head. I think Aura is the one that gets this one. All right, that's me taking this one. Okay. I hope we're able to stretch out a bit and stretch our legs before the next session. I'll now be handing over to my colleague who's going to take us on the next session on financial markets.
All right, thanks. I hope you guys had some fun. I did. I was able to stretch my hands and my legs. I understand we're supposed to stretch just legs, but I stretched both. All right, good stuff. So we'll continue with our session. And now we'll be talking about financial market participants and attitude for wealth creation. In our previous session, we talked about the various types of investments. We talked about the financial market. We talked about the financial system. We talked about intermediaries, and it's those intermediaries we'll be talking about here, and other market participants. What you will see in this segment, you will notice that in my example, Nimi, Angelique, Peter are all financial market participants. But let's put some more color to it. So the moment you buy an instrument in the market, what you tend to see is that for you to buy that instrument, you need to go through certain intermediaries. And okay, so I give you an example. In the FMDQ markets, if let's say you want to buy treasury bills, what you tend to see is that you have to go through one of our dealing members, and largely banks, licensed investment houses. And these dealing members will then evaluate the funds that are available, your investment preference, and in some instances, they can even profile you to confirm what is your investment philosophy, so to say, and draw up an investment policy statement for you. Now, these intermediaries, which in our own case will be dealing members or brokers, depending on the market, are participants in the financial market. Then we have you, the investor. You and I who want to invest in different instruments. And then we have banks. Remember in our example of a fixed deposit instrument, we said you have to take your money to the bank and put it and place it for a tenor, for a period of time, during which you will not have access to those funds, and then they compensate you for that with interest income at the end of the period. Now, the banks as well are participants in the market. Then you have the exchanges. The exchanges are the platform where our primary and secondary market platforms where transactions are done. So what you tend to see is that on the exchange, an example of the exchange is what? Is your market. What you call the market for selling clothes. So the spare parts market, automobile spare parts market in Lagos is, I think, Ladipo or so. For the financial markets, platforms are called exchanges. So the exchange is where you go to trade financial markets products, to buy and sell financial market products. And then you have regulators. These regulators ensure that the market is fair, ensure the integrity of the market is intact, ensure that there are no fraudulent activities in the market, in the financial market. And these regulators in our space will include the Securities and Exchange Commission. They regulate the capital market. The central bank regulates the banks and the banking system. Other players in our market will include even the pension industry, where you have the National Pension Commission that regulates how pension managers keep our money and safely and invest it for the long term. Then you have issuing houses. Issuing houses are entities that help you package an investment. So let me put it in proper perspective for you. So let's say Mimi, let's talk about my business that I wanted to set up, the car wash business. You will remember I said the size of the investment is 100,000 naira, but I only have 50,000 naira, yes? So it means that I then need to raise additional 50,000. What options are available to me? I talk to my friends, my family, okay, some of them say, okay, they can raise 10,000. So that takes me to 60. I still have about 40,000 I still need to raise. So I've exhausted my friends, I've exhausted family members, I've exhausted close relatives. So the next thing is what? I need to start talking to the public. Short of me going on the streets and shouting, hey, I have this investment I need to make, please come and give me 40,000 naira and invest in my company. The issuing houses come into play. So what do? They listen to my story, they listen to my investment proposition, they listen to my business proposition rather, and then go and document all of that and package a nice document that reflects all the details of the transaction, and then speak to a list of investors they've had relationships with. So banks, pension funds, individuals, high net worth individuals and the likes, and even the general public. So they speak to these parties and then give them that document that shows the details of the investment so that they can then do what? They can then invest in my business. So the issuers are intermediaries, the issuing houses are intermediaries in the primary market. And they go a long way. They go a long way to do what? To help raise capital in the primary market. They go a long way to help raise funds, money in the primary market. Then we have issuers. Issuers, who do you think will make up issuers? Issuers can be anybody and everybody. An issuer for equities has to be a corporate entity. An issuer for a bond has to be a corporate entity or the government. An issuer for a loan, in our example, between Nimi and Angelique, who is the issuer? Nimi is the issuer because Nimi is the one that is issuing that paper. If you remember, Nimi is the one issuing that paper to give to who? To Angelique and taking cash or borrowing money from Angelique. So the issuer can be anybody. It can be a bank, an individual, a corporate entity that is trying to raise money. So this is the spectrum of market participants in the financial market. And the way you go to the market, you have different players. You have the buyer, you have the seller, you have the transport company that help you move your goods after you've bought your items. These are some of the major participants in the Nigerian financial market or any other financial markets all over the world. Next slide. Now, we've talked about the financial markets. We've talked about the investment opportunities. We've talked about the players in the market. We've talked about the kind of instruments you can invest in. We've also talked about the options that are available to you. If you have money that you need in 1 year's time, you will typically do what? You will typically invest in money market instruments. If you have money that you need in 5 years' time, then you can then do capital market instruments like bonds, whereby you buy it now and in 5 years' time, you get principal and interest. You could invest in a bond that pays interest every year or semi-annual or quarterly, or pays interest at the end at maturity of the bond. So depending on your goal, you can then tailor it to match, you can tailor your investment to match your goal or objective that you're trying to achieve. Now, having said all of that, how then do you grow wealth? What are the attributes that you must have for you to grow in the investment market, in the financial market, and take advantage of these opportunities? First of all, you need to set SMART goals. These are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound goals. So I give you an example. Say you want to buy a new MacBook in 9 months' time. Your goal is specific. The MacBook is measurable. How much will the MacBook cost? So let's say it is 400,000 naira. Is achievable. For you to know if it's achievable, you need to first of all evaluate your options in terms of where you're going to raise the money from. It's realistic and it's time bound. I need to buy it in 9 months' time. So what then does that involve? You set your goal, then how can you meet that goal? By earning income, by earning in some form or the other, whether you work for it. User told you about sources where you make money from. Maybe your parents give you tokens, or you work hard and your parents compensate you for it, and you are earning some kind of funds. That's an option. Another option is those monies that you've saved, you can also invest them and generate additional income. Then you can begin to manage how you spend money that is given to you for day-to-day living. And that again will help you achieve your goal in the long term. Then by investing the money, you can then generate income, additional income towards achieving that goal in the long term. Then you need to learn. You need to learn about the financial markets. What we've done so far is give you highlights of how the financial markets work. What are the investment opportunities? What are the possibilities in the market? But there is a lot more to the financial market. And you need to challenge yourself to learn more on a day-to-day basis and take advantage of it. Now, I'm going to leave you with this challenge, which is I need you to look for a mutual fund entity, yeah, and start investing. And the reason why I'm saying this here is that no matter what you learn, if you do not put it to use, you will not be able to get the benefits from what you've learned so far. So let's put it into use. I'm sure every one of you here will make 1,000 naira within the next 1 year. You probably have it in your pocket, or you probably have it in your investment, in your savings account right now. So I'm going to challenge you with this. My challenge to you is to look for 5,000 naira and invest it in a money market fund, a money market mutual fund. If you remember what we called a mutual fund before, is what? Is a platform or a scheme that's managed by professionals that collects monies from potential investors and invest it in credible assets or credible instruments and generate income for the investor. Now, I need you to ask your parents or your guardians or deep into your savings and take 5,000 naira minimum. You can do more if you can afford it, but take 5,000 naira and invest in a mutual fund. There are a number of them. I will leave you to go and look for credible mutual funds. Please ensure that you look for a proper investment vehicle, an entity. Talk to professionals to advise you. You can talk to your banker, talk to your investment manager, talk to your parents to guide you, and make sure that you invest in a mutual fund, a money market mutual fund, to be specific, so that you can learn that process. You begin, and what does this do? You begin to interact with players in the market. You begin to monitor the market. You begin to monitor your investments. You begin to ask questions. And the moment you ask questions, you begin to learn and put your knowledge to good use. And at this point, I will be going straight to Q&A, questions and answers, and I will ask you to drop your questions so that we can quickly address them and then take it up from there. Okay, recorded version of this program. My colleague Kofo will speak to that. Okay, someone says, what are brokers? Brokers are financial market intermediaries that intermediate between an investor or a non-financial market player, an individual or corporate entity in the market, and other financial market players. So let me put it in perspective for you. So let's say you want to buy shares. You need to speak to a broker because you are not licensed to go into the market to trade on your own. You need to go through a broker or through a broker's platform to trade in the market, to buy shares or to buy equities. Similarly, in the fixed income market, you need to go through a dealing member to be able to deal. These are all brokers. They are intermediaries in the market. They are licensed to participate in that market, in whatever market you go into. You have some of them in some semblance in real estate as well, real estate brokers or real estate agents in our local parlance that you meet. They know the investments that are available. They can advise you, give you credible advice, and they are most often regulated by one of the regulators we spoke about, mostly by the Securities and Exchange Commission or any other regulator. I hope I answered your question. What is the Security Exchange Commission for? The Security Exchange Commission is a federal government entity that was created to regulate the capital market. So they provide the guidelines for the operation of the capital market. They register all the capital markets platforms, stock exchanges, trading venues, clearing houses, set depositories that Uzomaka spoke about. About 3 of the FMDQ entities, the FMDQ Securities Exchange, FMDQ Clear, and FMDQ Depository are all licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission. I didn't get the questions. I think I've spoken to that. That was about is equity a money market transaction or a capital market transaction? What is mutual funds again? Okay, mutual funds are schemes that enable you invest. So you going into an investment instrument for the first time, you may not know the full scope of what that investment entails. So what mutual funds do is that they aggregate funds from individual investors or any person or entity for that matter, and invest it in specific instruments, which they would have told you prior to your investment. They are managed by professionals, and these professionals are regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission. So these professionals are answerable to the Securities and Exchange Commission. In that way, what it means is that they are bound by market standards, they are bound by rules. They will typically not do whatever they please with your money. They have to use your money and apply it to the specific investment they have initially informed you about, and they will not do otherwise. Otherwise, the regulator, the Securities and Exchange Commission, will then penalize them, which they do not want to. Then the income from your investment will be paid to you less a small token, a small fee that the mutual fund manager will take from you. We've spoken to a broker. Are there any investment programs for children? And may we have some example if so? I'm wary of recommending a particular mutual fund to you. And for me, it's a challenge for you to research. So go online, go to Google and search the money market. And I'm specific to recommending money market investments at this stage to you. So go online, go to Google and search money market mutual funds in Nigeria. You can visit the Securities and Exchange Commission website as well to look for money market fund, to look for mutual fund managers in Nigeria as well. and then you can research any one of them and speak to investment professionals to guide you and recommend one to you. Any money market investment at this point, from a mutual fund manager that is licensed by the Security and Exchange Commission should be a good one for you. And it gives you the avenue to start, and you learn. And as you're asking questions, you're learning more and growing the scope of what you need to do. Yes, so there are mutual fund investment for children. Yes, 100%. My daughter has one, and so anybody can. And I think she's very young. So you can grow it, and from time to time, you put in more money. If you remember what Uzomaka told you, you need to save and put in money, and as you're saving, your wealth grows. Yeah. So you can start with a money market mutual fund. The next question: how should we invest? Who should we invest in, and what is the time frame, please? Time frame depends on you. Remember what we said about goal setting. If you want to invest for 9 months, then you put your money in the mutual fund, and in 9 months' time, you take the money and the interest income that you've earned. You will notice that I'm emphatic about you starting with a money market fund because the risk is very, very low. Yeah. I don't understand mutual funds. Okay, it's looking very interesting. Let me hang on to that. I'll come back to that. What are equities? Equities are units of ownership in a business or in an entity. So if you buy Zenith Bank shares or stock or equity, you own a portion of Zenith Bank. If you buy First Bank shares, you own a portion of First Bank. If you buy WAPCO or Dangote Cement or you name it, any of the companies that are listed on an exchange, then you own the equities or shares of those companies. And some of you that your parents or guardians own businesses, what they own are the shares of those companies, the shares of those entities. They are the units, they are the means of measuring the ownership in a business entity. Can you link me up with any reliable professional as regards to investments? This is an interesting one. So speak to FMDQ members. If you go to the FMDQ website, you will see the list of our members there, especially associate brokers, but we also have dealing members as well. So go to the FMDQ platform, look for associate members, and any of them will be more than willing to guide you. So if that is the meaning of brokers, then what is a stockbroker? So a stockbroker really just focuses on shares, but that traditional explanation, that traditional definition rather, has been expanded. So today, stockbrokers can trade in both stocks, equities, shares, or bonds, or fixed income instruments like bonds, treasury bills, and the likes. Okay. What are commodities? Interesting. Now, remember when we talked about financial markets, we said you typically trade in papers. You typically trade in issued notes. When it comes to commodities, you are trading actual assets, fiscal assets rather. So I give you an example. Crude oil. Nigeria is one of the largest exporter of crude oil in the world. So crude oil is a commodity. Most often than not, commodities are mined from the ground, either mined or grown from the ground. So some commodities will be agricultural commodities, maize, millet, sorghum, wheat, you name it, sugar, those are commodities. Then you have those ones that are mined from the ground, gold, silver, diamond, platinum, you just name it, those are other commodities. And these are typically traded on commodities exchanges. So we have a couple of them in Nigeria. We have the African exchanges in Abuja. We have the National Exchange, Commodities Exchange as well in Abuja, where they trade commodities as well. Another question, what are issuing houses under market participants? So issuing houses are entities that introduce borrowers to investors in the primary market. And that is putting it in the basic form. They do a lot more. They package. So what they do is that they prepare all the documentation that is required, and they help the person that is trying to raise money, or the entity trying to raise money. They help that entity meet all the regulatory requirements. So remember what we talked about, intermediaries? The issuing house is one such intermediary. Because they are licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission, they also have rules for raising capital or for raising funds in the market. And nobody knows those rules better than issuing houses. You can research it yourself, but there are a lot of them. There are legislation, there are regulations, there are market standards. And for you to be able to raise money from the public, you have to go through an issuing house that will guide you through that process and make sure you do not contravene any of the rules of the regulator. Yeah? Please, who is a neutral officer? So you need to couch this question properly so that I can understand it and address it for you. What is inflation? Inflation speaks to persistent rise in prices of goods and services in the economy. Now, that is from the economist, so I'll tell you from me that I'm not an economist. Inflation simply speaks to the tendency for the cost or the price of items to rise from day to day. Today it's 100 naira, tomorrow you see it is 110 or 105. The next tomorrow you see it's 115. That's what inflation speaks to. And it does not matter whether you invest or you do not. Cost of goods and services will typically increase from time to time. How do you invest? You speak to a professional financial market intermediary that will guide you through that process. But like I said, look up any of the associate brokers on the FMDQ platform, and they will speak to any of them. They have you can go to their website and you have their contact details there, and they can guide you. Is Stanbic IBTC a stockbroking company? Yes, Stanbic IBTC has a stockbroking company. Yes. I think Stanbic IBTC stockbrokers. What should we invest in, please? I will just recommend for the time being, go and invest in money market mutual funds. Very emphatic. Money market mutual funds, just for you to learn. Then as you grow your experience and knowledge, you can then take it up from there. Okay, I'll be wrapping up on some of these questions. I'm sure my colleagues and I will speak up. I think there are about 4 more questions. Okay, let me quickly answer the 4 more questions, but at this point in time, we will not go further because we have one of our colleagues that will be speaking to you and rounding up the session very soon. But you can still put on more questions. We will look into them and respond and provide responses to you even after the program. Can I buy shares from FMDQ? No. However, you can buy shares through members of an exchange like FMDQ. Yeah? What are money markets for? Money markets, we spoke to it. Money markets cover investments that are less than 1 year. So if your goal is to get your money back in less than 1 year, then you should invest in a money market instrument. What are mutual funds? We've spoken to that. So I still don't understand. I'm not sure I get that, so I still don't understand what you're speaking to. So are you people in any business? Okay. FMDQ, yes, FMDQ is an integrated financial market platform where we trade, where our members raise capital, trade, that is from one investor to the other. We clear those investments, we settle them with a depository, and the depository warehouses those investments on behalf of investors and individuals like yourself. And then we raise money in the private markets as well. And we have a technology platform that supports all of the business entities. Okay, that's the end to all the questions I see here. If you have more, please feel free to drop more questions. We will speak to every one of them and provide a response to you. Please visit the FMDQ website if you need clarity on some of the points we've raised, and the slides, my colleague Kofo will speak to you concerning the slides. Thank you very much for making this session very interactive. I enjoyed it, and I hope you did as well. Please do not hesitate to contact us at any point in time if you have more questions. Thank you very much, guys. Over to Kofo.
Thank you so much, Shago. I hope you all thoroughly enjoyed that session. And we tried to answer your questions as best as possible. And, please keep them coming. And, even if I know we're rounding up the session, but we'll still endeavor to maybe send you emails on, some of the questions, to answer some of your questions. So don't worry about it. I hope you've learned a lot. I hope you guys now know the different investment vehicles we have available, and, start prompting your parents to get you investing. Obviously, you can start now. Exciting. Okay, so I'm going to hand over now to the Group COO, Ms. Cody Ugoji. And she's, as I mentioned earlier, she's very passionate about financial markets and extremely passionate about the youth and empowering the youth to be financially literate. So if Katie is around, please, can Cody take over?
Empowerment officer.
Hello, everyone. My video is up.
Yes, your video is up.
Okay,
we can see you. Yeah.
So I'm just trying to see who is up. Hi, everyone. How many attendees now? Because I see they're all panelists now. So I think we have about 25.
That's it.
Okay, cool. So I hope you all have access. Have they been given access to their videos and the audio, right? So I'm going to be calling names. Yeah, I can see a few people. I can see Imran Adepoju. Can you wave? Yeah, I see you. I'm trying to see. Are there videos on? I can't seem to see a full view. Kofo, can you see other screens?
As for me, yes, I can.
Okay.
Yes, I can. They're not all on yet, but
yeah, but I can't even see for some reason.
Guys, please remember to turn on your cameras, your video. So some of you are on, but your video isn't on. Please turn on your video.
I can see Ibukoluwa Shubomi Omole. Can you wave?
Hello.
Hi. Okay. So since I can see you, and maybe I'll start with you. What's your first name?
My first name is Ibukoluwa Shubomi.
Okay. Do you have a short form, or you like to be called Ibukoluwa Shubomi?
I like being called Shubomi, ma.
Shubomi. Good. How old are you, Shubomi?
I'm 10 years old.
You're 10. Fantastic. So can you tell me what today meant to you? What was your key takeaway from today?
Today I learned how to properly invest in businesses.
In businesses? So which business would you like to invest in?
Life goes on.
Money market. I like to invest on the money market sector, ma.
You were listening, so that's good.
What?
Very good. So who are you going to be asking to help you with this investment today?
I want to ask my dad.
You're gonna ask your dad. Good. Tell your
Yeah.
dad you want all your money invested in the money market. Right?
Yeah.
Okay,
And I'll
good.
tell him to help me with 10,000 naira.
You tell him to do what? To invest
You
how
help
much?
me- You help me with the starting money.
With the starting money. Oh, yes, he has to help you with the starting money. But maybe
And
you
I'll give
can
the
work.
money to mom.
Maybe you can work and earn the starting money. Maybe you can do some work around the house and earn the money. How about that? You're not liking that, are
Pocket
you?
money.
Okay. Thank you. I can see Ayomide. Ayomide, can you see me?
Yes,
Can you
I
wait?
can.
Good. So what would be your takeaway from today? How old are you?
I'm 10.
You're 10. What will be your takeaway from this?
I would like to invest. I would like to save. I would like to save.
You like to save? Okay.
Yes.
Do you already have the money you want to save, or how do you intend to get it?
I intend to get it by walking around the house and getting
Fantastic.
monthly allowances.
Aha, I like that. I like that. So I hope your mom and dad are hearing you so that they can put you to good work and you can earn the money. Okay?
Okay.
Good. Okay, I'm going to throw a general question. General question. Angela, why is your video off? I can see you, but no video. I'm going to throw a general question, and I want the first person who will drop this in the chat. And then I would ask you to speak afterwards. So when I see who the first person in the chat is, to get the answer, to get the question, to get the answer to the question that I'm about to ask, then I'll call that person to speak. So no mics, just go to the chat box and type the answer. Who can tell me, fastest finger, what the meaning, full and correct meaning of GCOO is? Fastest finger. Oh, wow. Okay. I have one very fast finger. I have one very fast finger. Do we have other people who are still trying to type? I have my winner, but you can try. Who knows whether you might have second prize or third prize?
Let me type down. Don't worry. I just saw you doing this.
Anybody else typing? Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4 people. Okay, some people were listening. I have quite a few people. So I'm gonna ask our fastest finger. Do you have your video up? Do you know yourself? Who do you think is the fastest finger? Do you know? I'm sure you can see from the chat.
Stop. What are you installing anything? Let's see she's installing. Mariam. Me, I'm used to. That's why I did not want to give you the
Who's
phone.
fighting?
Means what to me install the game.
Can you tell from the chat who the fastest finger is? Who can tell me the fastest finger?
Sorry.
Who? No one is saying anything. Are you guys with me? I can see some people,
Daniel.
some videos. Daniel, thank you very much. So Daniel, where are you? Can you wave? Where's Daniel? I can't see Daniel waving.
I'm right here.
Right, I can see you. Daniel Shegun Hassan, I can see you. So what is the meaning of GCOO?
GCO means Group Chief Operating Officer.
Very well done. So even though this was not on the agenda, you're going to win the GCO prize. So I will give you a gift, but you'll get it through, just hold COFO responsible and make sure that you get your gift for the GCO. Okay? So please note, Daniel has a gift from the GCO. Okay, good. I'm gonna ask the youngest person here. I think I have his name. I hope he's still up here. And it was quite difficult to find the youngest because we have quite a number of 10s. So I had to go for months. So Wachuku Egwim, are you on here? Fantastic. Are you anonymous? Wachuku, I thought I saw a hand. Yeah, is that you with the raised hand? Is Wachuku on the call?
Studies. No.
No? Okay, I'm gonna go to the next person that I think may be the youngest. Since Wachuku is not here. Moyo Solua Osinibi. Are you up here?
I think that's me.
You think?
I don't know.
Not sure?
Can you please repeat the name?
Okay, the name is, okay, no, it's not you, it's Moyo Solua. Moyo Solua Osinibi. Osinibi.
It's a shinobi. It's a shinobi.
Oshinobi, sorry, Oshinobi. Are you here though?
NH. Yes.
Oh, I see you, but you don't have video on. You don't have your camera on. Do you want to put your video for a quick minute?
Videos on also.
Okay, I can see you. So tell me how your experience was today first. And then secondly, you tell me what you learned about the financial market. One key thing about the financial market.
Pardon?
Okay, I wanted you to tell me how your experience here today has been. And I also want you to tell me one key thing you have learned about the financial market. We can see your video on, but we can't see your face. There you are. Do you want to tell us quickly what you've learned, what you learned today generally?
Can you repeat that, please?
Okay, tell me one key thing you have learned about the financial markets today. Can we see your face? We need to see your full face. We can't really see.
Okay. So in the financial. Can you see me now?
I think that's better. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
One thing about the financial markets.
Oh, well, today I learned rules in the financial market and what FMDQ does.
Okay. Do you know what one thing that FMDQ does in the market?
Well, I
Do you
know
remember?
that.
Okay. No? Okay, thank you. Told us one thing. I'll go to someone else. Yasmina Oshinowo. I see you. Yeah, you. Tell me something about the financial markets that you've learned today. You can take your phone off mute. You can unmute. Okay. One thing about the financial market. The rest of you, I want you to think, because I'm just going to pick on anyone. I can see some videos. If your video is on, I'm going to call you to answer a question.
I can't think of anything.
You can't think of anything. Okay.
I realized.
Fariha, can you unmute and tell us one key thing about the financial markets that you learned today?
I learned that it's a lot easier than people think to invest and get money back from the financial market.
Okay, what is your best, what security in the financial markets do you like the most?
I don't really have a favorite, like, because I'm not really into this kind of, but like I was asked to do this class, but I think maybe
we're asked to do this class. Okay. Yeah. By who?
Oh, my dad.
Okay, I like your honesty. Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you. So let me ask Paul Omofaye. Tell me what you know about the financial markets. What did you learn today? One thing. Paul, you just unmuted. You just put your, look, can you unmute and answer the question? Thank you. One thing you've learned about the financial markets today. I can hear you now.
Hello? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Are you speaking? Because we can't hear you. Paul, are you speaking? I think it's frozen. Anjolua Fayomi. Yeah, you. I saw your eyes. Tell us something about the financial markets. Can you unmute, please? Thank you. Anything?
Okay, the financial markets. This is like
anything that you learned today about the financial, you don't have to define it. Anything you learned today about the financial market, you can pick anything.
Anything I learned about the financial market.
Today, correct.
I learned that it's
Say it now. Say it. Say what you learned. You just don't do what you learned now. So what's that?
Anjolua, where's your video?
Say it. Say what you told me. Tell her what you told me.
I said the money market is where we lend money for a particular.
I learned something today also. I learned that.
No, sorry, someone is speaking. Okay, Anjolua, yeah.
I said I learned the money market is where we borrow money for a particular amount of financial.
Shut up.
Interest rates.
The money market, is it long-term or short-term? Where would you find long-term or short-term products?
short-term product.
Thank you very much. Paul, are you back with us?
You asked me a question, man. I'm the host.
Paul, can you speak to us?
Yes, I'm back. Today I
Okay,
learned
can
about
you
the
tell us
money market and
go on.
please can you repeat what you said?
I was asking what you learned about the financial market
Please,
today.
can you
One
repeat
thing.
what you said?
Something you've learned about the financial markets today, something no one else has said.
I learned that the money market lasts for 1 year and the capital markets more than 1 year.
Fantastic. Do you know an example of a product in the capital
3
market?
weeks or less than 1 year or
Okay.
10 years. Or
do you know any product in the capital market?
what you said.
Do you know any product in the capital market? You said it's more than 1 year. Do you know any product in that market? Any example? Can anyone tell me an example of a capital market product that is long-term? I see Ayomide. Ayomide's hands up, okay?
Bond.
Bond, fantastic. Who was that? That was Oluwateniola. Was that you?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Bonds.
Government.
Ayomide Adeoye. I think your sister was raising up her hands for you, so you're going to have to answer a question now. Okay. Do you know any product in the money market? So they've told us that bonds are capital market product. Do you know any product in the money market, short term?
I know my.
Now, just raise your hands and I will come to you if you want to speak, but Ayomide is about to speak. Ayomide, tell me anything you've learned about the financial markets today. Sorry? Ayomide, are you speaking to us?
Financial, yes.
Okay.
Financial markets participants and their roles.
Okay. Do you know any participants? Can you tell me one participant?
Yes, regulators.
Fantastic.
Securities and Exchange Commission and CBN, Central Bank.
Very good. Well done. Well done. Thank you. Omogbemi, I think your hand is up. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay. Can we see your face? We can't see your face. Damilola Omogbemi, we can't see your face. We can see a light in the room, but we can't see your face. Question is, tell me, we want to see your face before you answer the question. We can't see you. Okay, while you're trying to sort that out, I'll come back to you. Anjola Latunjoni, you have your hands up. Oh no, it was Yasmina.
No, ma.
Okay, Yasmina has her hands up. Her hand up. Yasmina, do you remember one of the key things you learned now?
I learned that I am not too young to invest.
Fantastic. So now that you know you're not too young to invest, where would you like to invest your money in, your pocket money?
Shares.
You would like to invest in shares. You're very brave. Well done. So tell your mom and your dad that you should buy shares with your pocket money, okay? Okay, I think we are past our time. A lot of you didn't put your videos, your cameras on.
Ma, I have asked my mother to take my money from my piggy bank to the bank.
Okay, so you want to earn interest now from your money, from your savings. That's fantastic. So make sure your mom invests your money and tell her that you want your money invested so you can begin to get interest and begin to build wealth. Okay? That was Ulu Ateniola. Thank you. I think we were waiting for your video earlier. I'm not sure why we don't have all videos on. It would have been great to have all videos on so we can take a picture. Do you want to put your videos on? Your cameras on? Fantastic. I see some more cameras coming up.
He said picture not size.
Pardon?
He said not size.
I am in Daniel, you just won the GCO prize and you ran away. Put your video on. Your camera, put your camera on. Everyone, please. Thank you. I think we need 2 more on the first page. Yes, I see a lot more on the second page as well. Nifemi, no video. David, Famakiwa, no video. I think you're gonna have to take this picture with the best that you can get. So you quickly take while we have people up. Look nice for the picture.
Oh God, who is this again?
Have you got us? Have you taken our picture? Kofo? Okay, thank you. So that some of us can breathe now because I can see everyone, people holding their breath, their pose. Yasmina, I saw you. I saw everyone trying to look pretty for the picture. I hope you all had a great time today. And I wish you all the best as you begin to delve into the world of financial markets. I hope it doesn't stop here for you. I hope that you would pick more interest. I heard some of you saying you're going to tell your parents to start your investing on your behalf. That is fantastic. And I hope that as you begin to explore some of this, and for those of you whose parents made them come here even though they didn't want to, like someone said, I hope you begin to find some interest in this, because this is something that we're going to be with, that's going to happen throughout our lives. As you begin to grow up, as you begin to work, you will need to start to save. You will need to start to invest in your future. And like one of us said, it is never too young to start investing. So I wish you all the best. I hope you're all staying safe. And I hope that you're making the best of the situation. Most of you, if not, I mean, all of you, I'm sure, are now used to online schooling. I hope you're enjoying it. And we look forward to seeing you in our physical events when it is safe to have those. And we will have you on our database, and we definitely will be inviting you for future sessions. And we hope that you have more fun with us. Thank you for registering with FMDQ-Next. We're very, very, very pleased and happy to have you. And I hope that you enjoyed our session. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of the day. And I'll hand over to Kofo to do the final rounds. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's our group CEO.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much. Okay, I hope you all thoroughly enjoyed that session, and you've enjoyed today's session as well. We were really excited to put this together for all of you to at least, you're at home. We know you're also learning online at school, but we thought, you know what, let's get some financial market education in as well. So thank you so much. We asked some of you to send, well, most of you actually, to send your pictures for certificates. So we have a few certificates with the guys that sent their pictures in, and I'm just going to scroll. All of you, because you participated in the event today, you will all receive your certificates via email, so don't worry about that. Again, if you want it embedded, send your picture in and we can do it this way for you. But once again, thank you so much for being a part of it. I know some people asked about videos. We'll see if we can send you some videos. We're very happy for you to be a part of today's event. And we look forward to many more events like these. And we hope to sign, we have you on a database, so we hope to see you guys soon, hopefully. So summer camps coming up, etc. So we'll let you know. We'll send all those details to you and you can always sign up. Okay, we're going to say goodbye. Can all the facilitators come up and just wave to say goodbye? So Uzomaka, Okwemi, Shegun, so we can say goodbye to everyone. The GCO is still here. So Uzomaka, Shegun, do you want to wave goodbye?
Bye, everyone.
Shegun there, Okwemi. Bye, everyone. Is Shegun popping up? Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being a part of our program. And we'll hope to see you sometime soon.